Admiral, thank you very much for your testimony today. Congratulations on your nomination and being willing to serve again. Let's continue to talk about submarines. At the last posture hearing for the Indo-Pacific Command, Admiral Davidson said that continuing to build our submarines is critically important to our force because some of our, as he put it, most significant advantage in all domains right now is in the subsurface. Do you agree that the submarine force is maybe our most significant advantage over adversaries like China?
Yes, sir, I agree that the submarine force is an asymmetric advantage for us against both the Chinese and the Russians.
And that's one reason why those kind of countries, but also the countries on their periphery, are kind of racing to get more of their own submarines, correct?
Yes, sir, which is why we need to continue to outpace them.
So fair to say that in the words of the National Defense Strategy, that submarines play a critical role in strategic deterrence, sea control, key intelligence functions, and other essential warfighting missions?
Yes, sir.
And that's why the Navy has singled out the Columbia-class submarine program as its top priority for fiscal year 2020. I remember my first Armed Services Committee hearing with one of your predecessors where they brought in a stoplight chart and the maintenance of the ballistic missile submarine deterrent was the only one that was green. I assume that remains the Navy's top priority under all conditions.
Yes, sir, it does. And if I could just expound on that for a second.
Yes.
With Columbia. So Columbia is definitely our #1 acquisition priority. Secondly, right now, we believe that we are on track as we enter the production stage in FY20 to have 80% of the design done. And so that's double what we have with the Virginia class. We've also taken lessons, as Chairman Inhofe pointed out, with the Ford in terms of ensuring that any new technologies that we introduce to those submarines are properly prototyped, modeled, and gone through simulation before we go to production.
You said in your advanced policy questions on that related topic that the most significant risk to cost, schedule, and performance requirements for the Columbia class is the strength of the submarine industrial base and shipbuilder performance. I assume that it's probably correct that if that is the most significant risk to the Columbia-class submarine, it's also the most significant risk to the Virginia-class fast attack submarines?
Yes, sir. I believe that it affects all the yards that service the Navy, both public and private. And so it is a competition for talent. And that's why I mentioned that local communities are so important as part of the team that we have to ensure we sustain so that we have those skilled workers in place. And my advanced policy question, I really was speaking to the point that in that partnership with industry, we really need to make sure that skilled labor is there in the numbers and that the qualifications level that we need to work on those critical assets.
Given all that, ought we maybe consider expedited and expanded fast attack submarine construction as part of our overall naval deterrence strategy?
Senator, I would prefer to speak to that in more detail in a classified setting.
Sure. I noticed on your biography that you earned a commendation medal with a V device.
Yes, sir.
What were the circumstances of that? It's not very common to earn that medal.
Yes, sir. I was on a cruiser during the Gulf War, and we struck 2 mines. So I spent a lot of time as a result of that in a shipyard repairing that damage. And so I feel that I have a unique perspective when it comes to shipyards, the great work that they do, particularly with a combat damaged ship that we saved.
What rank and billet were you during that attack?
Sir, I was a weapons officer. I was a lieutenant at the time and the tactical action officer on the ship.
Good. I think it's good that your sailors know that Vice Admiral Gilday was once Lieutenant Gilday, like all of us when dinosaurs roamed the earth, and they know what it's like to be a sailor and a leader out on the front lines. Thank you again for your service. Congratulations on your nomination.
Thank you, sir.